And we're back. Showtime. We've got a stranger, aka a special guest in the building. She's back. You lot have been waffling and waffling and waffling and waffling and waffling about me getting Shirley on the platform. I've done it. I've delivered. How are you doing, Shirley? Nice to have you back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm doing well. I'm glad to be back on the show. Obviously, I was blacklisted by,
Don't start your
you
nonsense, man.
know,
You wasn't blacklisted. Don't give fuel to the
blacklisted by
fire.
your very own DG, but after much begging, here I
No,
am.
don't. Why? Stop starting your nonsense. There's no begging. There's no blacklisting. Stop your
After a lot of
nonsense.
begging, pleading, I even had to plead with the people in the chat. It's been rough, but glad to be back.
See,
How are
this is what
you?
I mean. You're fueling
See,
BS, man.
see,
Hey, stop
free
your
Shirley.
nonsense, man.
They know,
Get this,
free Shirley.
get this nonsense, man. I'm good, man. Obviously, we're top of the table, and you know what? It's actually a blessing in disguise that you haven't been here for a minute because we got a couple of things we could go over. First thing, I want to kind of paint your mind back to the start of this season before we get into everything else. How was you feeling going into this season as an Arsenal fan?
To this season. Oh, pretty nervous. Because we made a lot of signings. I remember being on the show like back end of last season with you, and we were saying how many signings need to be made, and we were complaining, as were loads of other fans. And I think the board delivered, especially the likes of Berta.
Right.
They delivered with signings. So I was satisfied with our business, but I did feel a little bit nervous because I just felt like I really want to make sure, well, we have to make sure that these signings work, and that we see improvements. But yeah, so just a bit nervous. Obviously, I think this has to be the season, that we win something, like preferably the Premier League or the Champions League. But I think my eyes are more set on the Premier League at this point after coming second 3 years in a row. So yeah, mixed feelings, but more so positive.
I hear you. I hear you. I want to kind of hold on a point you just said there. Yeah. Why does it? I know, but I think I know better. Yeah. But why do you think this year has to be the year?
Okay, so when you come second 3 times in a row, you're knocking on the door. I think, we've seen it with Liverpool as well, when they were kind of knocking on the door, coming really close against City, and they eventually got it over the line. So I think history has to repeat itself with Arsenal. I don't see why not. And then when you have the squad that we have now, there's just no excuses. Like, we could have said a number of different things over the past few seasons, especially last season. I think with injuries, we were really riddled with injuries from start to finish, but we've got the depth now. So I just don't see any other excuses. Even with Arteta, way more experience now, we've got to go get it over the line. That's why I say this season it's everything.
So if we don't get over the line, what happens? Where do we go from here? Like, where's your mindset at? Assuming that happens, God forbid.
Don't get it over the line in the sense of what? Like, we don't win
We don't win
anything.
trophies. We don't win the Prem or the champs. Like, we don't do, like you kind of said, get it over the line, which I think everyone knows it's a trophies thing, surely, no?
I'm at a point now where, like, if Arteta was to win, even if he was to win like the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup, I wouldn't really be satisfied. Like, I think I'd be at a point where I'm like, he's got to go.
That's
To
not
be
fair.
honest, I think it's fair.
How? There's not trophies are not a given. We're competing against some big teams. You know, you do need a bit of the rubber degree. We are a competitive side, but don't you think that's a bit harsh? Especially an FA Cup or a League Cup, something that's been, we ain't won in a minute. In fact, in our lifetime, we ain't won the League Cup or since we're like
He wins the
kids
FA.
really able to see something. Go on.
If he wins the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup, I think it's one of them ones where we shake hands and we say it's been a pleasure doing business with you, and we let him go. Like, I'm not gonna be mad. Like, we can part amicably at that
Mm.
point, but I just feel like we need a big trophy. We need the Premier League this season from Arteta. I think anything otherwise is a failure on Arteta's behalf, to be honest.
That's a bit harsh. Like, who are we gonna get if Mikel Arteta leaves? Like, you've seen, I hear your point about Silva, and I believe that as well. But yeah, as you said, the squad, the talent ID is improvement. We're not getting embarrassed in the champs. We see every week on social media positive statistics around our football club. Like, surely there's no one that could do what Arteta's doing.
I wouldn't go as far as to say there's no one that can do what Arteta's doing. to be honest. I think that's a bit of a stretch. But look, there's other managers out
You got to
there.
be careful what you wish for. We could get worse.
Yeah, we could, and we can get better. Like, it's 50-50. Are you telling me there's no better managers out there than Arteta? I know you're not
I
saying
didn't
that.
say that, but you said he kind of has to
Exactly.
go. So I'm obviously I'm not expecting
No,
you
he
to know
does though.
managers and
He
that, but who
does.
comes in?
Because he has to go because, and it doesn't even have to be a thing where we part like on such tumultuous terms, but I just think there comes to a point where you don't want to be stagnant for so long. And I think once you've got like 1, 2, 3, 4 years coming second and not being able to get the Premier League over the line, I think things can go a bit stale. What more can Arteta do? What more can the board do in terms of signings in order to make this squad worthy of winning the Premier League? I don't think there's much more that they can do. So that's why I think it's a fair assessment to say that Arteta should gracefully leave the building if we don't get it done.
I hear you with that. Do you know what? And you're right. You know, like because you like if I stop being devil's advocate, I can only speak for myself. I actually think Arteta is a bloody good manager, but I do think there's an element of our football fan base or Arsenal fan base that they put him up here and they don't hold him to those standards with balance. Like if you don't get over the line, where as you said, you know, Bert has done his thing. We've been chomping at the bit. There's a bunch of positive statistics. We might have to not necessarily sack him, but all aspects have to be considered, in my humble opinion. So I can't necessarily disagree, and I don't like to do the whole how much he's getting paid, but he's had stability. You've been here for a minute. You're earning 15 mil. For someone that's taking the job as your first career move as a manager, you've done quite well. But when you've got the players, when we've signed new deals, well, several new players have signed new deals, when we're actually a bloody good team to play against, when we're not getting embarrassed, and it really is the fine margins, then you've got to probably consider changing course in it. If nothing changes, nothing changes, which is why I agree with what you said in that away from the fans. I think the Premier League and the Champions League, if you do both, great. Either or kind of shuts people up. I think, I don't want to say kind of saves face, but if you win the FA Cup or the League Cup, it's still not enough for some, but at least you've won silverware, which that is what people were saying last May when everybody else won. But to not win silverware is unacceptable and unthinkable. So that's, I mean, I've asked you like your temperature on the beginning of the season. I've asked you how you're feeling about the gaffer. Obviously, with what you've seen in these 7 games, what have you made of us on the football pitch?
I think we've had some good performances scattered across the last, 7 games, like you said. Some performances that stand out to me, obviously, I think it was Leeds early on in the season. I think that was the 5-0 win. That was a good performance, obviously, at home. Nottingham Forest was a good performance. Then we've had some rocky performances as well, like I think the first game of the season, Man United, I don't think that was a great performance from Arsenal at all.
We caught life still. Well, not caught life,
Yeah.
but yeah.
No,
we
we
got the
caught
free
life. We definitely caught life. But again, those performances to me, I take something positive away from them because we could have easily dropped all 3 points at Old Trafford in previous seasons. That's been a place that's always difficult for us to go and win. So if we're taking 3 points, then I'm looking at that as a positive. But more recently, in recent weeks, I think definitely better than, let's say, game 4-5, where game week 4-5, where I just wasn't really happy with the lineup. I wasn't really happy with the way we were playing. We weren't attacking enough. We weren't creative enough. And I feel like in the past 2 game weeks, if I'm going from Newcastle, Olympiacos to West Ham.
So the last 2-3 games.
Yeah, those were for me. I was happy with all 3 games. Really, I can't really complain. So, and I think there's been some key changes that Arteta's made.
Tell us, talk to us.
Well, the big one is definitely how he's put together the midfield. I think you can't even really say that for Newcastle, really, because I think he still had quite a defensive midfield for that game.
No,
but
get out
he
of
had
here, man. You can't.
Zubimendi, Rice, and who else was in there?
Eze, Zubi, and Rice.
But for me, I feel like Eze, Zubimendi, and let's say when he plays Eze, Zubimendi, and Ødegaard, for me, it's not creative enough. A lot of the time, I prefer. Yes, I prefer when he's had, like when he had it against West Ham, he had Rice, Ødegaard, and Eze. in the midfield, and I saw a huge difference in the creativity with that midfield, to be honest. But I just think our performance levels, I think we rose to the occasion against Newcastle. We definitely rose to the
Last
occasion.
3 games, as you said.
Yeah, and honestly, like if I'm just thinking back to that game in particular, we really could have won that game like 4-1, to be honest. Like we forced a lot of saves out of Nick Pope. Like he was probably man of the match for me, aside from Gabriel, but he was brilliant in that game. And we were on them quite a lot. It was a really physical game. They also forced some saves from Raya as well, but in terms of attacking, it was way more free flowing. We were way more creative, but I think that was just a result of rising to the occasion, not so much on the lineup as then we saw Olympiacos and especially West Ham yesterday. So yeah, last 3 games for me have been like my favorite 3 games of the season.
Obviously, you're not the coach, yeah, but like, pardon me, what the hell's going on? I do agree with you in that the start of this season, I know the caveats and nuances. It's new, we're feeling out the team, we're doing all of that kind of stuff. But you made a great point in that. I feel a lot of us Arsenal fans, we felt we've had the tools, whether it's the summer signings or the people that we've had at the club, to do a lot more in an attacking sense. And whatever it is, like it's above our pay grade. Arteta hasn't necessarily facilitated that. In the last 3 games, for me, definitely Newcastle. You said it. I think we could have scored 3-4 in the first 15 minutes. West Ham and Olympiacos. It is kind of the same team out there. We're kind of doing the same things, but I feel that Arteta's taken the shackles off. Like, do you feel Arteta's changed anything significantly, or is it a thing where he's changed things, he's putting the right players in the right positions, like Eze in midfield, or do you think he's kind of just said, you know what, you lot are good players, I need you lot to defend, I need to do what we're doing in midfield, but in the final third, just let loose? Like, what something for me has changed in the last 3 games, like, and I'm quite happy with it.
Yeah, I actually think it's more of the last thing you said, because I don't think he's made significant changes. Like what you said, it's been more or less the same team out there. I think the only switch we've had is Saliba back starting in the defense. We had Mosquera starting, I think, against Newcastle. I don't know, I might be wrong, but I think, yeah, we had Mosquera starting, and then Saliba came in, and we've had Saliba starting against West Ham yesterday as well. So just minor changes, and obviously, like you said, Eze in the midfield, minor tweaks. But I think it's more so about Arteta just saying, okay, you know what, let's take the handbrake off a little bit. Let's not necessarily be less scared. I don't think we play like we're scared, but we are quite cautious, especially in those earlier games. We just do operate with a bit more caution than I would like. I'm quite confident in our defense. I'm sure a lot of fans feel the same. And I'm quite confident in, when Declan Rice is playing, he can cover so much ground and do that
protection.
Do that lone 6 role quite well, to be honest, as we've seen. So I'm quite confident in defensively.
You really believe in Rice as a lone 6?
Yeah, I do. I think he's capable. I do. If he's having a good game, he can play that position on his own.
I don't know, Shirley, man. I don't know. Certain game states, yeah, but there's got to be a reason. Take nothing away from Declan Rice. I agree on one hand, especially in this country, of what's demanded from a 6 in that, win the ball back, protect the defense, etc., etc., etc. But if you look at like Mikel Arteta, obviously he's Spanish, innit? You look at Pep Guardiola with Rodri. Rodri can kind of contribute in all phases. Now, there's obviously been times where Rice has had to do that. But there's got to be a reason Rice is further up the field, whether that's to win the ball quicker, whether that's he thinks, Rice can get more goals and assists. Build-up play is not going to be able to do it. That's where Zubimendi comes in. So I slightly disagree with kind of that one. And yeah, come on, it's an elite guest. You lot have been, I am spoiling you lot. You lot have been waffling about getting Shirley back on the platform. As I said, she is back. But I don't want to lose track of what I was going to say, yeah. Kind of what I asked you there about Mikel Arteta, he's changing. He's learned from his mistakes, or he's put the handbrake down. Surely, even if we don't win a title, like we can progress with this guy, man. Like, he's learning. Do you want to give up after 4, 5, 6 years? You want to give up already?
What do you mean already? 5, 6 years?
4, 5, 6 years. What's another 2, 3?
Listen, no, he's had 6 years going on 7. Okay, for me, I don't think it's given up so easily. I think we've given Arteta a lot of time. We're actually one of the clubs in the Premier League. I'd say us and probably Man City, because obviously they've had Pep Guardiola for so many years now. But we don't really change managers like that. Like we do stick with our managers and give them enough time. I don't think anyone can even use that against Arsenal. But honestly, it's just not good enough. Like if he doesn't win anything, particularly the majors, I don't think anybody can argue with saying Arteta should go. And even if he was to win like an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup or heck, even both, it would still be papering over cracks. Not even papering over cracks. For me, it would show a clear indication that this team cannot get over the line and win these. I would honestly lose hope that we can win major trophies with Arteta. That's what it would do for me. So, and I'm sure others feel the same. I don't think we can keep excusing Arteta now. He's not a rookie anymore, you know. So
surely he is. He's more experienced, but surely he is. He's been managing for 6, 7 years, as you said. As a manager, that's a baby, no?
but then you've been at the same club for 5, 6, 7 years. You're not doing like a Frank Lampard who, you know, you're so crap that you just get let go everywhere you go. You just bounce from different clubs. Like it's not been that. You've been given the environment to build your own squad, you know, keep developing that squad, identify what your squad needs and you know, signal to people like Berta and previously Edu to make the changes that you need. He's been given all the support, I feel, to be honest, especially this last season. So I think there's something to say about the environment that Arteta's been coaching in, which actually puts him in a way better position than other managers who are also
Expand on that.
to their career. Well, I mean, I just did. I feel like when you're at Arsenal and you're at a club where you've been given six years, you know, to make decisions. And I think we've all said before, Arteta has been given quite a lot of power in this club pretty early on in his career here as a coach. So yeah, I feel like the environment that he's been given, he's supported, he's got all the tools that he needs. His squad is his. The players that he brings in, you know, they seem to have a really good relationship with him. You know, he came in saying all this non-negotiable stuff. I think he's set that precedent. So players that play for Arsenal now, they understand that Arteta is very much in charge, and we don't really have any of those little kind of tacky problems that we had before with players and in the dressing room and stuff like that. We haven't really had stuff like that since Arteta's been here. He's got the right environment to succeed, is basically what I'm saying. So I don't think we can make any more excuses for him.
I'm not even making excuses. You're right. He's been here for 7 years. You're right about the environment and the backing and all of those things. But like when you actually deep it, that's not always been the case. There were times he didn't necessarily have his squad. We weren't all on the same page. We've just got a competent man like Berta and things of that ilk. Now, in these last 4 years, including now, that's where I think I'm with you in that, okay, we fixed up what we fixed up. It's like building a house, isn't it? Like we've bought a derelict house, we've made it livable. And now we're at the point where we're talking about flat screen TVs and things like that and just getting over the line. Like if it didn't work for Arteta, personally, I think he could leave with his head held high purely because when he walked in to if he walked out today, we're in a better state. And until he does get over the line, there is that element of, are you the man before the man? I think all options personally should be on the table, which leads me to ask you, like, do you think like Arsenal are the favourites for the title? Because the bookies have made us Champions League and Premier League title favourites now, I think, as well.
So I do think so, yeah.
Fair. Us as favourites. Over Liverpool, we've done it.
I didn't say we've done it, but I'm saying...
No, over them, because they've done it.
No, but I think we're favourites this season because... And obviously Liverpool's squad is also great as well. They made some great signings, but we have a really, really, really great squad of players now. We have depth. It's not just about having a great squad. We've literally got depth in every position. I think we're well suited and well equipped to go and win this league. You know, even we've had injuries from the start of the season as well, but it hasn't really impacted us. If we had the same amount of injuries that we've had this season already, last season, we would be having a different conversation by now. We'd be struggling. And, you know, right now we're sitting top of the league. I know it's really early. We can't
I don't
really
look at the league table, but that's great to hear.
Well, we're sitting top of the league and it's still early to take anything away from that. But at the end of the day, we are where we are. And we've had quite a few injuries to key players. But the good thing is now we've got more key players and we made the right signings. So, yeah, I would put us favourites. Obviously, Liverpool are... they're champions, reigning champions. They're great. a great outfit, but I don't see why we can't do it.
How do you rate our Champions League chances then? Because for me, I don't know, man. Like I think we, you know, we don't get embarrassed. I do think we get more respect as a football club, and how Mikel Arteta is, by the way, more foreigners speak, if that makes sense. We did get to a semi-finals course. We beat Real Madrid and we lost to the eventual winners. But then it's cliche. You do have to have Real Madrids, the Bayerns, maybe even Liverpool, kind of as the ones everyone expects. But I think we're more likely to win the Prem than the champs. But how do you rate our Champions League chances? Is it a thing where we're the favorites? Is it a thing where we kind of have to do like last season, where we just confirm, you know, safe passage into the next round and we just take it as we go? Like, where are you at with that?
I'm more on the side of like get into the next stage and take it as we go. To be honest, we've got good chances in the Champions League, but I'm a bit like, I'm not sure where this making us favorites has come from, to be honest.
Supercomputer, probably because of our run. Like we've won we've won 6 points from 6, innit? So yeah.
Yeah, maybe. But I actually think it's got more to do with the fact that last season in fact, if you look at the last 2 seasons, we got to quarterfinals the previous season, and then last season we got to the semis. So maybe it's like a gradual thing. That's how they're looking at it. But I think we fare better in the Premier League than the Champions League, just because of the level of competition that's out there in Europe. But again, we're experienced. Our team is getting more experience in the Champions League. So I don't see why not. Yeah, we have to have that same mentality towards the Champions League as well. You know, why not?
Facts. What one would you rather win though? Because based on your conversation, it's like you're more kind of, maybe I'm wrong, but it's like you would, if you had to bet money, you'd probably put money on on us winning the Prem than the champs. But like, what would you rather win? You're offered on one hand the Prem, the champs, no context or nothing. Just in May, you're lifting one. You can't say both before you do that. Which one are you going with?
That's such a hard question, because
I can't believe it's taking this long to answer that.
No. Do you know what I'm gonna say? I'm actually going to say, and it's gonna hurt, but I'm gonna say the Champions League.
How's that? No, you said the right answer. There's hope for you. Yes, that's the one. We ain't won that.
Because I just want to win a European title, and not any European title, that European title. Arsenal Football Club needs that title. And that why I said it hurts is because I want the glory of winning the Premier League as well. For all the haters out there, I want to silence those haters. I want to get it over the line.
One love troops for the raid, by the way. Go on, Shirley. I'll cut you though.
It's the Champions League. Like, doesn't come around as often. I don't know. I just feel like for me, the Champions League will feel way more special. We've won the Premier League before. Yes, it was like moons ago, but at the end of the day, Champions League for me all day.
JD, I slightly disagree with this, but me and you have spoken about this before. I'd rather get the guess for Shirley. Premier League over champs is more difficult, and we can boast over more teams. Is the Premier League more difficult than the Champions League for you, or is it the other way?
I get where this person is coming from, because the Premier League is a marathon. Like, you have to turn up, you know, for 38 game weeks. That's harder than the Champions League, if you're going to put it that way. But then I think the Champions League is about the quality of the competition. It's about who's in that competition, and, you know, the teams that you are inevitably going to face to get to that trophy. And don't get me wrong, I mean, we've seen teams win the Champions League and they've had like the easiest run ever, to be honest. And I'm like, how did they get away with that? But it doesn't matter, really and truly. It's the Champions League is the best in Europe that are in that competition. So yeah, I think I get what they're saying, because at the end of the day, the Premier League is a marathon, and it's you have to show up week on week on week. That is way more challenging. It's probably harder to win, but I still think the Champions League is more rewarding.
You said it there. Like, I think the Champions League, at least for me, and based on what you said yourself as well, Champions League would be more rewarding, because we've seen City and Chelsea win it. I've seen Chelsea win it twice. You know, it feels like everybody, if I'm honest, it feels like a lot of British teams win it on a very jammy one. Even the last 2 times I've seen Liverpool win it, it feels like we need to be perfect. I'd rather win the chance, because we haven't done it. I don't know where I sit on it, which one's more difficult, because I do understand the logic some people say about the way we play in Europe. It opens up sides and things of that ilk. I hear that. But I just feel, for one, we've kind of earned that right as being the second best in the Premier League. Everyone knows it's a difficult day at the office, and it's almost like the devil you know versus the devil you don't know. Maybe I'm a bit more familiar. I think statistically, what I couldn't tell you from game week 1 in the Champions League to the final how many games that is, but it's less than 38 games, right? I think you've got more. Not that I want errors, and we all know the margins are small, but there's more goals at it in the Premier League, and I just feel we're more suited. I do think Champions League, we do look a bit more mentally suited. We don't really look fragile. But when I get beyond the excitement of beating Real Madrid, where we earned it, I do remember how I felt against Paris Saint-Germain, which the first leg, obviously, I'm not going to say his name, but that midfielder was missing. We saw that we saw the problems in that regards. And then I put my mind back in the second leg. I think we made a good go of it, but I just think ultimately we just didn't have the talent. Like I genuinely feel that. I feel in the first 10, 20 minutes at PSG's ground, if you score, it's a different game, which goes back to what you're saying about, you know, you've got depth now, you've got options and stuff. Just before I get into the summer signings and things, I can't find where it is. Oh, there it is. Big up, boy. It kind of piggybacks off what we was talking about. If we lose the Prem and we're short by 4 points, more than a win, do we then sack Arteta? So yeah, let's just say he's got to a Champions League final and we've lost. We miss out by a point or two in the Premier League. Would you still be of that? Yeah, you got to go Arteta. Fundamentally, the context, it does matter, but the bottom line is you've not got it done.
I would still sack Arteta.
Damn. Fair. You know what? Fair. I get why people would be like that. For me, when it comes to Arteta, I just need you to win something, bro. Because if you don't win, I'm on everything. If we're persistent with you, then great. I'm not gonna lie. If Luis Enrique ever wants to leave Paris Saint-Germain and earn 15 million a year, then it kind of is what it is. Like, it's facts over feelings. I want to ask you about a couple of players. The first two, you knew when you came on this platform, we was gonna have to speak about two individuals. But before, saving the best till last, Leandro Trossard. Because I've seen you in the comments on my videos. I think you're kind of harsh on Trossard.
You know what? Yeah, because I can't remember what game it was anymore, but there was one game. Who did we play before Newcastle? No, wait. Yeah, who did we play before Newcastle? I can't remember.
Wasn't it City?
Anyway, whoever it
I
was,
might be wrong. Wasn't it City?
It
Let me
was
look.
City.
I'll go and make your point. Wasn't it City?
Particular game.
Sorry, it was Port Vale. It was Port Vale in the cup, and then we played Man City at home. Then we went in the EFL Cup against Port Vale. We won 2-0, and that would take us to Newcastle after that.
Do you know what? I think I'm actually referring to Newcastle, to be honest. I feel like Trossard had a bit of a rocky game at Newcastle. I don't feel like he's been that great this season. And I remember being in the comments. I just can't remember what game it was after, but I remember being in the comments.
You got on to me because I said Trossard ain't been playing as bad as the comments were saying, and then you added fuel to the fire. And I maintained that. I think you lot are harsh on Trossard. I'm not saying he's amazing. I'm not saying she'd be starting, but I think you lot are just, you're tired with the guy. So now you're just on him. Against Newcastle, he should have scored, but we can say the same against Eze, about Eze. And I'm not insinuating he was 10 out of 10, but you lot are harsh on Trossard, man. I think something's going on with your mic, you know.
Can you not hear me?
Now we can.
I think for me, it's not even so much about he should have scored, because yes, there are a few chances that I've seen that he could have put away, just like Eze and like Gyokeres as well. We'll get onto that. For me, I'm quite frustrated because I can't remember the game that it was that I came into the comments and said that after. But it's little things like,
might have been Olympiacos, to be fair.
Placing passes, inaccurate passes. It was just little things like that I just noticed Trossard repeatedly doing, and I was just thinking, I personally don't think it's just not good enough. Like, the passes that he was giving, or whatever you want to call it, they were just inaccurate, and he was giving the ball away quite a lot in previous games, and for the life of me I can't remember which one it was that I was saying that he was quite bad in. But in recent games, I think he's been okay. But I don't think he's doing anything spectacular for me to praise him over, really and truly.
I didn't say praise him. I just said you're being harsh. You look being harsh.
All right, in my opinion. All right is the best way that I can word it. I won't say like, oh, Trossard was great. There's not been one game that I've seen and I'm like, oh, he was amazing, he was great. But he's been okay, more so recently.
I hear that. I hear that. I hear that. Completely off topic, but on topic. Yeah. Obviously, we had a great summer. We brought in 8 players. We can't ask it. We're very critical on the recruitment and everyone, but I'd like to think a lot of us are quite fair. Cool, 8 players. We're feeling a bit confident. Do you think we missed a trick in the summer? And I say that to say this because I think we should have signed the left winger. I know we're linked with Rodrigo and this and that, but I just feel we've missed a trick there. I feel there's obviously Noni's come in, Eze's come in. It's not their strongest position, but there's 2 options there that we never had. Fit Gabriel Jesus potentially, or Martinelli, and I'm probably missing out someone, but I feel nobody's locked that down. And I think I look on the right, that's obviously Saka. Through the middle is Gyökeres. Do you think we missed a trick not signing the left winger?
Yeah, I think we could have done with a left winger that's their natural position. Because I don't really feel like anyone owns that left wing. I was actually under the impression when we signed Eze, I felt like, oh, okay, Eze can play there, we've got it. But then after I see him in the midfield, I'm like, oh no, he needs to be in the middle. Like, that's where he needs to be. I think that's just where he plays better. He covers so much ground, actually, Eze, and he's got great technique. He contributes to, even though he could do that from the left wing as well, but I just feel like the creativity that he can unlock from that middle of the park.
You pigeonhole him on the left-hand side.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't think he can showcase his like full ability and what he can contribute to a game when he's over on that side. I think, yeah, we could have definitely pushed the boat further and signed a left winger, but we won't know if we missed a trick until we get to the end of where we fare. But yeah, we could have signed a left winger, definitely.
Well, so on the topic of left wing, someone that you told me to give up on, you said he's not good enough, you said this, you said that. Are you going to say sorry to Martinelli? Like, you're going to act like Martinelli? You knew this was coming. Martinelli's back. World Cup year for Brazil. He's probably going to win that for Brazil. In my opinion, he's probably been our best performing attacking player. One of the best minutes to goals ratio. So we're going to give Martinelli his credit, not to mention that great potential goal of the season against City. You wanted him sold.
Best performing attacking player, yeah? That's funny. What? Because okay.
Probably is.
This is the thing. I'm not going to say sorry because, and I'm not going to lie, he's been coming on and he's been brilliant. He's scored goals. He's won us games since he's been coming on. All credit to him. But the thing is, we've seen this before with Martinelli. We've seen him get dropped, and after successively, putting out stinkers, let's just be real. We've seen this before. He's been dropped. He was thinking up the place, got dropped, and then he comes back and he's on fire.
He had injuries last year, but go on.
I ain't just talking about last year. We can go back a couple seasons. A couple. So
do you want to go back last year where he scored against Real Madrid, or the year before where he bagged against Liverpool? Big game player. Go on. Let's hear your thoughts.
He did 2 brilliant free kicks against like we all scored against Real Madrid. What the hell? That ain't separating him from anything. I've seen this before with Martinelli. So I'm not gonna be like, oh, let's say sorry to him. He's the best thing since sliced bread. No.
Talent of the century, Jurgen Klopp called him.
Where's Jurgen Klopp now?
He voluntarily left from Liverpool after delivering them a Champions League and a Premier League after 30 years. Hey, it's not my fault. I'm just an armchair expert. That's a generational manager. If he says Martinelli's the talent of the century, what can I do? I'm just throwing it out there, Shirley. It wasn't you said that.
Funny because by that logic, I remember I was saying before we played Liverpool at Anfield, I was one of those people saying, we've got to play Martinelli. Got to play Martinelli. That's his game. And what did he do in that game?
One game in like a million.
What did he do in that game?
Towards the end of last season at Liverpool. This is the first game. That was more on the manager, surely. He went there with Mourinho at Anfield. Can't blame the manager. Okay. You can't blame the players.
You can say that, but I'm just saying, if you're going to say, oh, Jurgen Klopp called him this and, we're going to do all this propaganda for him, when you expect him to turn up, the thing I've got against him is just that when you expect him to turn up, he doesn't. When you give him a run of games, and I can't speak for the future, but I'm just saying we've seen this play out. Like, I wouldn't get too excited about what we're seeing.
I haven't seen Martinelli play like this before. He looks different. He's got unique qualities. The way he's running.
I will say one thing. Since he's been dropped and he's been coming off the bench, I've noticed that he's a bit more focused. That's the word I thought of when I was watching him. Just focus. Even though he needs to stop like running with his head down and stuff like that. But you know, there's little things that I just don't know if he can get it out of his system. But I think he's been a bit more focused. He's been sharper. Yeah, he has looked a lot better since he's been coming off the bench. But like I keep saying, this is the story that we've seen before. We've seen it with Trossard as well. We've seen Trossard not starting and coming off the bench and just pulling off great cameos. And then you start him and it's not quite the same. So I worry about that. But I'm not gonna, because I see someone talking about moaning. I'm not moaning,
No,
but
no, Rob's no. Big up Rob. He's just saying he's not interested in moaning. He's just taking in the show, man. Big up Rob, man. Rob don't deserve no stray. Sorry, but I'm not interested in moaning about things today. I'm just enjoying my team, top of the league for a little bit, hoping the best outcome with injuries and taking in all DG shows. Rob's not moaning. He's taking in the convo. Wait, don't shoot him. He's an innocent man.
supporter he is. I might have misunderstood that then, Rob. But no, either way, like I just don't. I don't think. I don't. I'm not gonna knock him. I'm grateful for his performances. I'm grateful for what he's been doing. But if it so happens that Arteta trusts him on that left side again, I expect this same quality of performance that he's been putting in coming off the bench. Otherwise, we're going to be right back here, and I'm going to be cussing him again.
To be fair, Trossard and Martinelli, obviously, like they're having to play. That's kind of why I think we missed the trick not signing a left winger. And I see a couple of you commenting it. I'm with you. Like, I'd love Semenyo. I said it today, day 34 of asking Arsenal to sign Semenyo. We're not signing him in January. I just think he makes sense, man. I think, you know, you're seeing the variety of goals he scores and how tactically he fits into Bournemouth, which aligns with us. I wouldn't hold my breath, folks. I don't work for the club, but based on our summer spending, I can't see us signing anyone in January where we're more equipped than we was last year, which we didn't sign anyone, but stranger things have happened. Let's move this on to, players that have signed for this football club. Yeah, like Gyokeres, where we at? Like the good, the bad, the ugly, your concerns, your praise, where you at? Everything Gyokeres, everything Gyokeres. Don't hold back. It's a safe space, Arsenal fans. Let us know your comments too.
You know, I like him. I like him as a player. I wanted him before we got him, and I'm happy that we've got a number 9. But I don't know if it's too early to say this. Obviously, I'm considering that he's come from the Portuguese league into the Premier League. I know that it's quite a hefty transition. And obviously, I'm not going to take anything away from how difficult that is to bed in for a player like that, especially when obviously, there's a lot of pressure as well when you're playing in that position. For a club like Arsenal, he knows that we're going for the league. All of that into account, right? But I have been a little bit underwhelmed by what I've been seeing by Gyökeres. It's actually a very interesting comment on the screen right now because after watching West Ham, I was kind of thinking, oh my God, do I miss Kai Havertz? But I don't know, that might be a stretch. But I was thinking, do I miss Kai? I don't know. But yeah, I'm not that impressed. I'm impressed by his like technique in terms of how he takes shots and like the type of goals that I know he can score, but something is just not quite clicking for him. If there's one particular thing that I would complain about when it comes to Gyökeres, well, there's a few things actually, but like for a big guy, he seems to like, I don't really see him bullying off defenders. I was expecting him to kind of be like shimmying off defenders because he's quite like big and stocky. He looks quite strong. I don't see much of that from Gyökeres. I also feel like he goes down quite easily. Like, not necessarily that someone can bring him down, although we've seen that as well. But if I'm just particularly the game against West Ham, I'm like, maybe try stay on your feet, and you could have potentially got a foot to that ball. That's a tap in for you, but you're slipping and sliding, alongside the defender. And I don't know why. I just don't really know why. It doesn't.
Eze missed the tap in as well. We gotta be fair. We gotta be fair.
We're gonna get into Eze too, but Gyökeres, I've just seen too many crosses that are just like food on a plate for him, and he doesn't finish it. And also his heading, with like on the ball, it's not good enough. Like, it's not good enough right now. Seen him miss I think it was against don't know if it was against Newcastle or West Ham, might have been Newcastle, but heading the ball, it's not really there either. And you need to have that in your locker if you're going to play that position and you're going to be our main striker. I think it's a bit bizarre that
Do you
he's
think we
not
create
really
enough for
that.
him as well? Sorry to cut you.
I think that was an issue earlier on in the season for me. I was feeling like, oh, you know what? He's not really getting a lot of service in terms of like we're not really creating too much for Gyökeres. But now, especially since, like we said earlier,
The last three
Arteta's
games.
kind of taken, yeah, he's taken the handbrake off, and we've seen it. We've seen the creativity, and all the chances that we've created, and we cannot say that there's not been chances put on a plate for Gyökeres. There was a cross in from the tap in that Eze missed against West Ham, where he put it over the bar, right? Gyökeres really should have got to that before. Shouldn't have even come back out for that opportunity for Eze.
That's
Really.
harsh. He's being marked. He fell over. That man fell over, man.
Okay, and then Saka put in the.
You're cracking. I think you. Do you know what it is? I think you keep leading away from your mic. You know.
Really?
Now you're cool now because I think sometimes you move and then you're back now though.
Sorry. Yeah, I think Saka put in a cross for him as well. That was also food again. And I've seen it enough times now to say I don't really think it's about the service, just something is not clicking. I don't know if it's the runs that he's making. Maybe he needs to look into that. Because like you said, he's being marked, as he would be, as any number 9 would be, as players like Saka are always being marked. But I think there's just, I don't know, I just think there's something maybe missing. I don't know what it is, but he keeps slipping and sliding. We are putting food on plates for him in recent games, and he hasn't been able to put it away. Even against Olympiacos, actually, I just remembered that Martinelli goal. That should have been Gyökeres' goal too. What happened there?
No,
Like,
but he
it's
played
just,
a major part in that though, man. The general plays there. His
yeah, but
decision making in that game was poor because there was one time Martinelli should have found him. He should have found Martinelli. And I am looking at Gyökeres closely because it has been 6 games without a goal. As you know yourself, Shirley, strikers are a bit weird. Like when if he had 6 in 6, everything's, all the decisions are right. Now it's kind of overthinking. And I agree with the main point you made. And for me, I still think there's creativity issues. I still think we need to put it on a plate for him. But that was up until the Newcastle game. I think the last 3 games, it's been more your decision making. And I would actually say the West Ham game recently, that's the quietest I've seen Gyökeres. I think you're fitting in now. I think you don't look like a stranger. I just need you to stand out. I'm not expecting you to be pretty or look good on a football pitch or whatever. Like, you're 27, your touch is going to be clunky. You're going to be an ugly footballer. But I just need you to put the ball in the back of the net. I actually full-heartedly believe in him. That being said, though, what's the target from him in terms of goals this season? Like, what's a good season? Let's just focus on Premier League. So, like, I don't know if it's 15, 20 for you. Like, what does he need to get come May?
Oh, he needs to be touching 20. He needs to be touching 20. And before I go on, I wanted to just touch on something you said.
Go ahead.
I think that there's also something to be said about, because I know, we want him to be putting balls in the back of the net. That's why we bought him, but at the same time, his goal contributions could be higher as well. There was a game, I don't know if it was against Olympiacos or West Ham, but he should have crossed the ball to Martinelli. I think his hunger for scoring goals sometimes works against him a little bit in games where, you might not have been the one to score a goal, but I think it's what you said about decision making. Like, that could have been an assist for you if you looked up and saw Martinelli over there free and unmarked on goal. Honestly, I don't know what's going on with my memory, but I don't know what game it was.
I think you're referring to Olympiacos, to be fair.
Yeah.
I actually think you are.
Me as well, and I kind of took what I took from that is like, okay, you can see he's hungry to score, but you can still contribute. And I don't think he's even making a lot of contributions.
Oh, that's harsh. Come on.
Well,
He's selfless off the ball. He's dropping deep with his general plays, winning a lot of fouls. He's being marked and it's allowing the others to thrive. Shirley, that's a bit harsh. He's doing everything apart from scoring for me. And
he's
like, in the box.
He should have had a penalty. He should have won that penalty against Newcastle, in my opinion. So there are things that he's doing that are good. But if you're going to be striker, if you're going to be number 9, you're going to be in that attacking line, that front line. I think he could have more goal contributions, not even necessarily just goals, but just more contributions. That's what I think. I think he's just lacking in that a bit overall. So it's still early on in the season. I'm not going to be too critical of him at this stage, but maybe he needs more time. Maybe we'll just put it down to that.
Do you think when Kai Havertz is fit, if he's fit, like anytime soon, do you think Gyökeres gets dropped for Kai through the middle?
Don't see why not. I mean, I think I'm not saying that he gets dropped and he sits on the bench, permanently, and that's the decision Arteta should take, unless Kai has a stink and then we switch it back. But I think, why not? We can try. We've got the depth. That's why we've got the depth. So we can try something out. Because to be honest, Kai Havertz, except for like the first half of his first season, he has pleasantly surprised me in terms of the goals that he scored. So we know he's capable of scoring goals from that position. So I don't see why not. We can try it. That's why we've got the options. I don't think that's a bad thing.
I don't think you're lying. So then, obviously, we've spoken about Gyökeres. My guy Zubimendi. What have you made of him in an Arsenal shirt?
I think he's been, overall, for the most part, he's been a great signing. Some of the passes that he made, like did he play against West Ham?
Yeah, he came off the bench.
Only
when Odegaard came
when
off.
Odegaard came off, yeah, he put in some really great passes, like similar to what Odegaard does actually, when he lays off those really well-timed passes. So I think his passing is great. I think he's, again, goal contributions, he gets a lot of assists. He's scored 2 great goals against Nottingham Forest, was it? Yeah, I'm impressed with him. I think he's really confident in front of goal. I didn't actually expect that from him.
I told you.
Yeah, no, I think he's been great. I can't really complain too much about Zubimendi. Honestly, I'm more so on the positive side. I think defensively, actually, I've seen him make a couple of errors here and there. Oh, I can't pinpoint
Zubimendi.
Yeah, I think defensively he's been a bit sloppy sometimes. Earlier on in the season, yes, earlier on in this season, I've seen that, but I think he's made up for it. Like, he covers up for it well because he does so many other things really, really well. To be honest, if you were going to ask me who's my favorite signing from all of the signings we made, I would say Zubimendi. To be honest.
Fair. I can't lie. I thought as a South Londoner you might say Eze, but fair enough. So then talk to me about Eze. Apart from him not putting the ball in the back of the net a couple of times, he's been mustard.
It's great. He played really well. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You kind of went and you're back now. You're back.
Yeah, I think Eze's been playing really well. He scored 1 or 2. I think he scored against Port Vale. And so he has scored, but his impact is definitely there for us all to see. I think technically he's really, really brilliant. I like how he always hits the ball on the volley. I think that's one of his favorite things to do at this point. But I also do think that he's a little bit rash sometimes. I don't know if he's just excited because he knows what he can do. He wants to score. That's the main thing about Eze. He wants to score. He wants to contribute. Whether it's assist, whether it's a goal, you can definitely see that in his play. But yeah, there's some chances that he's taken, and I'm like, I think he should have scored that, because if you look at the
Trossard, Martinelli, I know how you'd be acting, but he's a kind of
no. But I think if you look at
talking to your mic.
Can you not hear me? This is so weird.
I think it's because you keep leaning forward and backwards, but you're back now. We can hear you. I don't want you to lose your trail of thought.
I'm a very expressive speaker, so I have to do the motions. Otherwise, but just let me know if you can't hear me, because I don't know what's going on. Yeah. So I think if you look at the goal that Declan Rice scored yesterday, whenever it was, against West Ham,
Saturday,
and then and then you look at the one that Eze missed, was pretty much similar situation, because I think the one that Eze missed, Gyokeres was slipping and sliding for it. It came back out and then he booted it over the bar. The one that Declan Rice hit, it was an attempt at goal from Eze, and it came back out and then Declan Rice hit it. But the difference in the control from basically the same position Declan Rice and Eze were in when that ball came back out to them. I just think there's a difference in control in that moment. I don't know what it is, because it's not like Declan Rice hit it on the volley as well, actually. But I think it's just about like, you know,
He's
Eze
controlled
just,
it a lot better, man.
yeah, like Eze hit it a bit too, obviously
He
way
snatched
too
that.
hard. And Declan Rice just had that know-how to be like, I'm just going to tap this ball lightly, and it went in easily. So there's maybe something to say. I don't want to call him rash. I don't think that's fair to call him a rash player. I think he's a direct player. I like that about him. But yeah, he could do a little bit better, like with scoring goals. We know he's got it in him, so yeah, could do better.
So then, how are you looking at it? Because I can't not speak about Eze and not bring Odegaard into it. And I'd say, away from the obvious, I was disappointed against West Ham for two things. In that, I feel in these last three games, I feel everything we've been calling for, everything we've been critical about the manager and still critical. I think if I keep it fair, the last three games, you've played the players in the right players, you've started the right team, you've made changes. A big talking point we all had was, how do you get Eze and Odegaard? And there are going to be times Eze's probably going to be left wing and Odegaard's going to be in the 10, or one's not going to be there. But it was a breath of fresh air to see one of Rice or Zubimendi, and I obviously the captain in Eze. Now, because of Odegaard's injury, we was robbed of that and we had to revert back to type. Zubimendi did very well. It's disappointing because of that, because we've been robbed of seeing them two together. And I feel Odegaard has had a start to this season. And I feel like, the last international break, he was in a worse moment. He went and played for Norway. We thought, yeah, the penny might drop now, innit? And he got injured again. Then obviously he's done well off the bench against Newcastle, did quite well against Olympiacos, purring now, and now he's got a knee injury. So how do you feel about Odegaard's injury and like your landscape with Martin Ødegaard? And then on top of that, like, are you concerned that with no Odegaard, we might have to rely on a Nwaneri and Eze, or maybe see Marino back in that role?
Oh, I don't want to see Marino back in the midfield often, to be honest.
You're
I
not
don't want
alone.
that. Yeah, Ødegaard's fitness is a concern for me, and this isn't new for a lot of us Arsenal fans. We've been saying this last season as well. He's always had this thing over him with fitness, to be honest. Yeah, it's unfortunate for him because I feel like when he's played, he's played well this season. One thing I was noticing as well is he actually does shoot a lot more this season. I remember last season I don't know about anyone else, but I really couldn't stand the fact that Ødegaard, it was like he was scared to shoot at the goal. I feel like he's made a conscious effort to try and do that a bit more. They've not all come off, obviously, but I
But there's a
just like that.
willingness.
Yeah, I just like that he's trying. But yeah, it's just the fitness. Like even if he's injured and then he comes back, you still need that run of games to get back into things. And he's not even able to have that. I think he's gone off, was it 3 games in a row? I
Three
heard
games,
someone
yeah.
saying, like
All
for
at
an
the
injury.
Emirates, all around the 30-minute mark. And two of those
Yeah.
Nwaneri's come on. Obviously, Zubimendi against West Ham came on instead.
It's unfortunate. There's something about the fitness. I don't know. I mean, we've questioned about what's happening in training. What is Arteta doing with these players, and is it like it's so intense? I don't know. Obviously, the first time he got injured this season was a shoulder thing. Then it was a shoulder thing in the following game, and then obviously the knee on Saturday. But just overall fitness and strength, it's looking like a little bit of a concern because he's such a talented player that we do need him on the pitch, and especially when we get to see him and Eze together in that midfield. We always talk about creativity, and we need to be unlocking teams like that in order for us to be on the front foot. And I think that pairing in the midfield is great, especially if we've got like a Declan Rice and he's doing a good job backing up the defense as well. Then we're good to go. But yeah, it's just unfortunate. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he does need a good period out. And then when he's back in, he really does need a run of games to get back into the fitness levels, the stamina levels, and all those things that we know he can produce. Because in previous seasons, when he's been fit, he plays every single game. If he's available, he plays every single game. So we know we can do that, but he's got to be available to do that. And that's going to take some time. I'm not necessarily concerned about putting in Nwaneri in, to cover like the left if Eze comes into the midfield. I'm not necessarily concerned about it, but yeah, there is, we don't have Madueke right now either, so there would be a bit of a reliance on players like Nwaneri, but that's why we've got Martinelli and Trossard, and we've got that depth. depth. Notes that I said depth.
I didn't say anything. I just heard names. I was like, oh, okay.
I
I
mean,
guess
that's what, if worst comes to worst, then these players are there. They can cover that position. But I don't see it necessarily as a bad thing for Nwaneri to come in and fill that space. Why not? You know, we've got the luxury of switching things up. But I would prefer Ødegaard fit and in the midfield with Eze. I liked what I saw when he was playing.
are you
So
disappointed with the lack of minutes for Nwaneri as well? Now that you mentioned him,
I think, yeah, I think there are times that Arteta's made substitutions, and I feel like Nwaneri could have come on at that stage. But at
Liverpool
the
away for
same
me.
time, yeah, maybe. But at the same time, I feel like, Nwaneri, he's so young. He is young, just like Lewis Skelly, and I want to protect these players because we've got enough depth that we don't have to exhaust these players. Look at Bukayo Saka now. We have relied on him on that right wing for so many years, and his fitness, even though he's just an absolute soldier, so he comes back fighting each and every time. But not every player is going to be a soldier like Bukayo Saka, to be really honest. And these are young players. Like, I feel like, even though I was actually thinking about this earlier, like it must be quite frustrating for Nwaneri at the moment when he sees other players coming on. Even yesterday, I don't know if he came, I keep saying yesterday, Saturday, I don't know if he came on in the end, but I saw him warming up when Ødegaard was coming off. And I thought, oh, like, is Arteta going to put him on? Like, what's going on? I don't think he came on. And I thought, okay, that might be a bit disappointing for him. But at the same time, he has to have patience. It is patience. They're going to get their minutes. Like, we've got so many games. We've got FA Cup games. We've got Carabao Cup games. You're going to get your minutes. Yeah, I think we all need to be patient alongside those two young players in particular, because it's for their benefit and their protection, to be honest. So I am not concerned as of yet about his lack of minutes, I'd say.
I'm not concerned. Oh, naturally, I want him to play. Obviously, if you haven't played enough minutes by January or the end of the season, then you might have to look at things. I do think you'll get game time. I think crucially, as you said it, I don't want to say it as a cop out, but the reality is, you rightly or wrongly, you are young players. It is easier in theory to leave Miles Lewis Skelly, Nwaneri, and actually Max Dowman out, especially because two of them, they're still young and impressionable. As you said there, they're obviously going to be disappointed in it because last season you've exploded on the scene, 30 odd appearances. Tuchel has said at one point Nwaneri was close to a full international call up. Obviously, Miles Lewis Skelly's in the England fold. If you're not really playing, there's obviously something there. So it is difficult, but it gives you a bit of things to fight for. And for me, I'm on this horses for courses thing. As much as I want to see all the Highlanders and everybody get minutes and share the goals and all these things, for me, it's about the performance first, the results. Well, the results first, the performance second, then we break things down. And I want to skip back to something because that's actually just reminded me. Like, how did you feel around Saka taking the penalty and not Gyokeres as well? Because a lot of people are saying, "Oh, Saka, you should have given it to Gyokeres. And Saka didn't help his teammate out. We did it for Havertz." I don't know, man.
Mm, yeah, I remember when they gave Havertz that sympathy penalty, actually. No, I don't think Saka did anything wrong. I'm happy that Saka took that penalty. I think he was actually captain at the time, you know.
Yeah, it was.
Just because Gyökeres is in and he's our number 9, he's not the only penalty taker in the team. And I just don't really believe in this, like, oh, give him the penalty because he's our striker, or give him the penalty because he needs a goal. At the end of the day, I think Saka deserved that penalty. He scored an offside goal, a great goal, before, and it was offside, it didn't count. But so let him take the penalty and let him get his goal. Like, I think, if you want a penalty, earn the penalty. Maybe if he got that penalty against Newcastle, he probably would have taken that penalty. But no, I don't think Saka did anything wrong. I don't think he did anything wrong at all.
I'm cool with it. Like, obviously, if Saka takes the penalty and doesn't score, then there's question marks. But Saka was feeling himself. He was confident. I get, like you said, he's the captain. If you step up and take it, who cares? It would have been nice. Obviously, you give it to Gyokeres, he bags. But I don't want to, I'm not being funny. And, we've spoken about Gyokeres. I don't want to see my striker giving anything for charity. You're going to get your goals. You're going to get your time. What have you made of well, sorry, to be fair, Nathan, I'm doing you dirty. I've removed your question. But we was on the topic of new signings. Yeah. He's asked you, what do you think of Mascara? And I'll throw in an added layer. Like, before we move on, what have you made of Mascara and actually, what's the other one? Noni Madueke.
I'm gonna start with Madueke. Madueke, has surprised me. I think it's too early actually to say like great signing, although it is a good signing for different reasons because of that cover for Saka on the right, and he can play on the left as well. And to be fair, we've seen him play on both sides, and he's done okay. He's done good. To be fair, when we've seen him play, I think he's again very direct, great one-on-one, Madueke, but end product is a little bit
It's lacking. That's
lackluster.
the only thing that's lacking.
It's a little bit lackluster, but still a good signing. Good because of just the depth. I don't think he's a game changer. He could be, but I ain't seen it yet. But no, he's impressed me because I honestly didn't expect this much from him, to be honest. But I think that's my fault because I was listening to what other people were saying when we did sign him, to be honest. I didn't really watch Madueke so closely before he came to Arsenal. But from what I'm seeing, the levels are, I can't complain about the levels right now. It's just that end product that I would say is lacking. Overall, a good signing though for the options that he gives us and for the depth. And on Mosquera, he's really impressed me. Apart from that he had a little bit of a tough time at Newcastle. I think
We
that was
gave
the
away
only
the corner and
game.
then got hooked.
Yeah, that was the only game I've seen him where I think he looked a bit out of his depth. But other than
The
that,
manager
again,
agreed with you because he subbed him.
that yeah, exactly, subbed him and put Saliba right back on. But at the end of the day, I think no, he's done well. He's a young player. He's also new. Is he new to the Premier League? Yeah, he's new to the Premier League.
Mascara, yeah. Signed him from Valencia in Spain.
So I think he's done really well. Yeah, just a bit of a wobble at Newcastle, but I can't not really much to complain about. He's impressed me as well, and as he warms into how we play and into the team, I think he'll be another great centre back at this club, which
And
is great
Saliba's
for us.
also signed a new deal as well, so it's the fun times are
Brilliant.
continuing.
Yeah, brilliant. I'm happy to have Saliba staying with us. It's just great to have options and not any old options. Good options is what we want. And honestly, again, he surprised me. I didn't think he would be as good as he is, to be honest. The first couple
Well,
of
I
times
think he's 21, very mature in his performances.
young, yeah, and very mature performances, yeah. Good decision making for the most part from what I've seen when he plays. I feel safe with him in the defense, which again I thought that he would grow into that, but he came in and offered that surety really quickly. But everyone makes mistakes, and I'm sure he'll come back swinging, and it's fine. I'm just happy that he's one of our defensive options. We're quite lucky to have him actually.
Yeah, facts. Farhan, appreciate you for the super chat. Max will be ahead of Ethan on the right wing too. I do think Max Dowman's preferred instead of Ethan purely on the right wing, but we'll have to see how that one there develops. I do want to ask you about some existing players. Who would be, well, what have you made of Calafiori and Timber? Because somebody asked me on my live stream, like, if obviously we're 6-7 games in, if I had to say my players of the season so far for Arsenal, I would have Timber up there. I would have Calafiori up there. I'd probably throw Raya into the mix, but focusing on the outfield players, what have you made of Calafiori and Timber? I swear you
They
got onto me about rating Calafiori once upon a time. After this, I'm going to conduct a serious survey. Go
up
on.
here. It wasn't me. Oh, I may actually. No, I don't think that was me. I'm happy though with Calafiori and Timber. I think they are brilliant.
Cold.
Like, I think they're brilliant. Timber, obviously, how this guy had that injury, was out a whole season and came back like nothing happened. Maybe even came back better. I don't know. We didn't really see much of him anyway when he got injured, before he got injured. So, but he's honestly just, to have him as a fullback and all the ground that he covers as well, and also the contributions that he makes into the attack as well. Didn't he win the penalty for us on Saturday as well?
Yeah.
So he's
Zubimendi found
advancing.
Timber, who was tripped.
He's advancing to the final third, and he's scored
Certain
goals.
people, not you, said Ben White's better in the final third, but take it away, Shirley.
I don't know about that. I honestly, I think Timber's better. Yeah, the contributions in the final third for me is what is doing it. And then when you're so tight defensively as well, I
Full
cannot. I
package.
don't. And same for Calafiori this season, he's really, really stepped it up a notch. Yes, I think someone said in the comments that he's not afraid to like strike from 30 yards out or something like that. I love that about Calafiori. He missed the chance yesterday. I think he hit the
Hit the
post. That
post.
that beautiful goal if he scored that. So I love how direct he is and how he's always trying to take shots at goal. And defensively, I think he's been solid as well this season. So again, no complaints for the both of them. I'm really impressed with them both.
And nobody's giving Mikel Arteta credit. Yeah, fair enough. Managers have to do it, but we talk about low blocks and breaking down stuff. It appears, and I feel sorry for Miles Lewis Skelly because he's quality and he's cold. It's just Calafiori ain't put a foot wrong. Nobody's deep in the fact that both of our fullbacks consistently this season have been threats in the final third. Calafiori, in a nice way, he makes no sense. He's like an Italian bull in a china shop. He just random in it, like he just does bare stuff. Timber's obviously Timber. All he does is read his Bible and lock up wingers. I have to then ask you, where you at with Ben White? Because he's looking a bit dark, and I know he's not really been fully fit. And I would always support Ben White because he's put his body on the line numerous seasons. But against Olympiacos, I know on one hand you're rusty. We need to let you to get that ring rust out of yourself, innit? But I think he was shit against Olympiacos, and it seemed like Arteta believed the same because he just kept talking to him like, "What have you made of Benjamin White?"
I think Ben White is a really good player, obviously. But yeah, I think it's just down to how little time he's had to play. And I think that's ultimately going to have an effect on you, on any player, really. Um, I mean, yeah, some players come back from a long period of injury better, like Timber, for example. If you're comparing him to Timber, then it's a sad day, really, because
Horrible.
it's a stark difference. But I don't know. I think we need to keep trying him at some of the lesser games. No offense to any of those teams, but maybe he needs to start more cup games or something. He just needs a bit more minutes to warm back up. But I think against Olympiacos, there was some they came into it a bit more in the second half of that game, to be honest. And I don't want to say Ben White is totally responsible, but yeah, just not so much surety offered from him. I think he's probably defensively as well. I think right now he's probably one of our worst players, but that doesn't mean he's a bad player. Our defenders are just really, really good. So that's difficult for him to match up. But maybe he just needs more minutes. Because we know what he can do. Like we know that he can be good. He's just not really reached back up to that level that we know that he's got in him yet, which is a shame.
It's a shame, man. But you know yourself, football's a fickle business. We could be saying this about Ben White today. You put 2, 3, 4 good games on the spin, everybody loves you again. It's like it's not the same, but it's like Madueke. People are thinking, oh, I don't know why we're signing him, and I think, including myself, because I didn't get it as well, and he still ain't scored. But now that you see him, you're like, okay, you know what? Fair enough, you're doing your thing, and we need depth in it. Like me and you throughout the course of this, there's been injury. We've spoken about injuries. Maybe an element of carrying players and a potential injury crisis, but we've still kind of got the job kind of done, really and truly, which is what we want. You know, this again, if Gyokeres finds his form in the second half of this season, sorry, where I don't want that, or others, it is like a new kind of signing. Before I let you get out of it, then Shirley, the one thing I want to ask you, because we have been talking about squad depth and indirectly we're top of the Premier League. How do you feel about, if I bring this on screen, how do you feel about like the run of games to come after the international break? Because obviously the whole squad's going to have to be needed. I do think you're going to see Marino and you know, Eze and Nwaneri. They're all going to alternate in that midfield role. How do you feel about the recent run? Because surely the big games are the ones we're cool about. It's the smaller teams, respectfully. Like West Ham's a team that's kind of dampened our day when we fought for the league. We beat them. Same would said for Newcastle, to be fair. But then we've got Fulham, Atletico, Palace, Brighton in the League Cup, Burnley. Boy, like, how do you feel about the run of games? It's a bit mad.
I think it's interesting because it's quite a balanced run of games if you if you consider the Champions League game in there against Atletico as well. But honestly, in the league, we should be winning all of these games that I see on the screen, Tottenham included. Yeah,
Fulham, Palace.
we should be winning all of these games. I think Tottenham and Palace are going to be like difficult, the most difficult, obviously, in the league. Obviously, Bayern and Atletico. That's two difficult games anyway in the Champions
Draw,
League. It is
win.
it is what it is. But when you're talking about Premier League only, we should be extending our lead at the front, at the top. That's how I'm seeing it. Um, yeah, I don't really. We should be able to beat Palace. They've been on excellent form, but we should beat them. And we
They're
should be
scary
beating.
though. Most informed team
No, they
probably in the
are.
Premier League.
They are. They are. Which I didn't expect. I don't know where that's come from, but we should beat them. If we're serious about winning the league, we're beating all of these teams. Bar one of the Champions League games, I can see it being really difficult. Where if we get out of there without losing, I'll be like, I'll take it. But in the league, no excuses.
Sunderland away, we should be winning, but that's difficult. North London derby is unacceptable anytime Arsenal don't win. Chelsea, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't been happy with the way we've performed the last 2 years at Stamford Bridge because I think we've kind of shot ourselves in the foot. Last season, we conceded that stupid goal from Pedro Neto. It's stupid for us because it's great from him, but it was just a poor sequence of play. The year before that, I think we were shit for 45 minutes. We conceded a silly goal. I'm sure they got a penalty that shouldn't have counted or shouldn't have been a penalty, but we're judged differently. And then, if I remember correctly, Rice scored that goal where Sanchez was off his line. I do agree though that these are games, and we know we're not going to win them all, but on paper, that you should just get the job done, which we've been doing. Fulham away scares me. I'll be brutally honest. They are a good team, but we've seen that. Palace, they're probably the one that scares me the most because of their form and what their manager's doing, but we should be able to win that. Burnley away is not going to be easy. Neither is Sunderland away, but these are the games you have to push through and get the job done if obviously you want to go through. Chelsea, I've alluded to that. North London derby, the same. Brentford are not quite the Brentford of Thomas Frank, but they do make it difficult, and I think they're unlucky to actually not walk away with a point against City. Villa, they seem like they're finding form. So it'd be interesting. But as you said, if we're serious, we need to go and win, especially because what Liverpool have had three, it's not going to stay like this, but they've got evident teething problems. They've earned their lot, but they've been stealing a lot of games, and they were probably due at least 3 losses in all comps. And I hope there is a bit of a hangover so we can make some distance. But I'm sure we're only, for as much as we're happy and we're looking at them and things, we're only a point ahead of them. What do you make of like Liverpool? Like, do you think they're that good? Do you think they're overrated? Do you think there's been too much change? Like, where are you at with them? Because we're fighting for them, and also City as well because they're part of this.
I don't think with Liverpool, I don't think you can say they're overrated. Well, I think after they made those signings, yeah, people probably before the season kicked off, people probably tipped them to win the league over us as well, despite all of our signings. But yeah, like you said, evident teething problems. They've made loads of signings, and I don't really think they've all gelled as a team just yet. Obviously, their big hitter, Mo Salah, has not really been shooting as he does in previous seasons,
Verts
which
is
is
struggling as well.
he's struggling, which is great for us, because if Mo Salah was doing Mo Salah things, I think Liverpool are top of the league right now. But even with that, they are still what 1-2 points behind us. 1 point, so it's fine.
One, I'm sure. I don't look at the table, but I'm sure it's one.
I think it's 1 point, and obviously our goal difference is significantly better than everybody else anyway. But yeah, I think it's just a matter of their signings and being bedded into the team. I just think that's all it is really. So that's the slot. That's a job for Arne Slot. But I think they'll come good again. Honestly, I don't like you said. This is not going to last. They're not going to keep losing. Liverpool always have a stint in the season where they lose, games in a row.
It's nice
But
we actually took advantage for once.
exactly, and that's one thing that we haven't really done a lot of the time. When Liverpool lose, or even City, sometimes when we're neck and neck with them, we'll go and throw away that opportunity. But I actually think us playing first has a big part in that, because it always seems that when we watch these teams lose, it puts a bit too much pressure on us, and we don't always deliver. I think because we played first, got our win out of the way, it was the other way around. We put that pressure on Liverpool, and Chelsea gave them a great game. Chelsea were the better team. They deserved to win that game. So,
Unfortunately.
well, yeah, but it worked in our favour in this occasion. I think, yeah, like we know, it's not going to
True.
last. So, but long may it continue though, and we just need to keep winning. This is a tough fight this season for the Premier League, and with City, they are not impressing me as much. To be
Yeah, but they're going
honest,
under the radar though, man. Like, and I think
yeah,
that could help them as much as you can go under the
they
radar.
kind of
in
did that
City.
last season. They went a bit under the radar, but then and they were poor for a lot of the season, and they climbed into third. They finished, I think, so they managed to pick it back up and finish in a decent position. And City always have the ability to do that, even though I don't think that they've been impressive at all. I don't know what the cause of that is, but I wouldn't count City out. I've always got my eye on them because I don't want them to start. I don't want City to get into the routine of just winning, winning, winning. Because I think one thing that still separates us from the likes of Liverpool and City, even though City are below us right now, is consistency. When they win, they will keep winning. And Arsenal, in the last couple of seasons, we haven't had that. We only really had that. I think we had it in 24, 25 for the second
23,
half.
24, innit? Where you talking about when we took the lead to the last day of the season, like our second half of the year, we were putting in results.
He won every game apart
big up
from
Havertz as well for that one.
Exactly. And then this previous season, obviously, we were winning like it was so easy. Like we're winning every game, and then we just lost the league in like April, pretty much. But yeah, that's the difference I think that they've got over us. It's consistency. Once they get into a habit of winning, it's not a joke. Whereas Arsenal, I don't think we have that as a team just yet. So that's the reason why I worry about those two teams. Yeah.
But you know what? Let's just get the job done, man. We should be worrying. It should be difficult. It is what it is, man. Before I let you get out of here, Shirley, it's always a pleasure. But I've got a super chat. Appreciate you, Farhan. When everyone is fit, what is your best 11? I'll let you go first.
Okay, so defense. Well, obviously, David Raya. I can't believe we haven't touched on Raya. We can't afford for this guy to get injured, by the way. I know we haven't got much time, but he's brilliant.
No,
So,
speak. We do. Speak.
David
Big up
Raya.
Raya. He's one of our player of the seasons as well. So far.
He's been so good. Last season saved us a lot. This season, same thing. Like
Quality.
sheets. This season, and starting the play as well. Like just some of the things that he does, those quick throws. For me, they just wipe out like most of the other team's defense, and they get us going quicker. I like the way he does that. He's very proactive. Yeah, he's very
He's not
proactive.
excited like Ramsdale.
No, he's not. He's not rash like Ramsdale. He's cool, calm, and collected, and
Exactly
efficient. Like I like how he comes out and punches the balls away. I like how he catches it at the right time. I like how he knows when he's got an opportunity to make a quick throw and get us going. Loving everything that he's doing, to be honest. And if he was to get injured, I think we would be in the most trouble if David Raya got injured. To be honest,
Kepa though. He's a Spanish international Champions League winner.
Is he on the same level as I don't really know much about Kepa. I won't lie, but for me. So I don't know. I think David Raya has just been astronomical. Like I just wanted to praise him because I don't think people talk about him as much. I don't know, but I certainly haven't spoken about him as much. So definitely deserves all the praise. So yeah,
I think that applies to Timber as well. If I'm honest, I don't think he gets enough flowers, especially when you go on Arsenal.com. I think they got take nothing away from the players, right? But like our players of the month, I think Trossard's there. Take nothing away from him. I'm sure Martinelli's there. I'm sure Gabriel Magalhaes is there. I'll be honest, I can't remember. I think it might be Zubimendi. I can't remember the four, but it doesn't have Timber. And maybe it's because we're just so used to Timber just doing the business. But I don't think Timber gets a lot of flowers as well. And as you said, Raya definitely. It's a shame, but I guess that's what comes with being in the defensive unit of our side.
With Raya, yeah, he's a goalkeeper. So sometimes people can overlook like just how impactful he is. But with with Timber, I feel like Timber. I think you're right about that. I feel like Timber has to do something, astounding to get praise from a game. Like if he scores, we're like, oh, Timber man of the match because he's a defender and he scored a great goal and he contributed to our.
He's in the highlights reel.
Yeah, but other than that, I think a lot of his work gets overlooked. I think you're right about that. So yeah, it's the same story with Raya, which is a shame, but that's why we do these things and we get to talk. But just to answer Farhan's question, like I said, Raya in goal, I would keep the defensive line as Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, and Calafiori as it is right now. I would have Declan Rice, Ødegaard. Oh, what you said when everyone's fit. Odegaard and Eze in the midfield. And I just want to note as well that I feel like Odegaard and Eze, it doesn't really matter what side they're on, really. They can just play around in that whole middle park, and they can cover a lot of ground, both of them. So I think that's the best midfield for me. I would then have, how many players is that? I don't know. And then front line, Saka, obviously.
Saka.
I don't know if I want to say Gyökeres.
Say what you feel. Say what you feel at this moment in time. Things are subject to change. Like, this is why it's good to ask these questions. Someone's got a gun to your head and you need to win a Champions League game or something, a final, and everyone's fit and you're selecting the 11 with everything you know up until this point. Who are you going with? Like, use that mentality.
This might be controversial, but we're talking about scoring goals, yeah? I would actually put Marino in the centre forward position. I'm not gonna lie. And then I'd actually have Martinelli if he's firing fit, put him on there. Yeah. That would be my team.
Wow. Didn't expect his name. Oh, I mean, it's one where I got to do it as well. It's one where you wish you had 12 players. Raya in goal, obviously. Saliba, Gabriel, Magalhaes, Jury, Timber. Calafiori, big up yourself. And I don't really care if it's Miles Lewis-Skelly or Calafiori. I am going to go Miles Lewis-Skelly, though. So that's my back five. Midfield, I personally don't, and I get it, you know, because one of Rice and Zubi has to drop out. I understand if people want to go with Zubi. I understand if people want to go with Rice, because that allows you to get Eze and Odegaard in their central positions, right? So I hear that. But for me, I don't think there's an Arsenal strongest 11 without Martin Zubimendi. So Declan Rice, Zubimendi, Saka on the right. Eze, you're going in the...
Rice, Zubimendi, and who in the midfield? Odegaard or Eze?
Rice, Zubimendi, Eze in the 10, Saka on the right. Remember, keyword people, everybody's fit. Gabriel Jesus, you're doing a job for me on that left-hand side. Said everyone's fit. And I'm going with Gyokeres through the middle, isn't it? I want to see that. I want to see that. I can't drop Zubimendi. I think Zubimendi's a player, and I'm not saying, you know, he's the bee's knees and that, but I think if you don't have Zubimendi, you see the absence. I think he's the glue. I think he's so good. So good. I did go Eze. Let me say it again. Raya in goal, Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, Timber, Miles Lewis-Skelly, Gabriel, again, if everyone's fit, Gabriel Jesus left wing, Saka on the right. I think I said Eze in the 10, and Gyökeres through the middle. If everybody's fit, Jesus is cooking on that left. You do all that defense. But could you imagine Gyökeres and Eze? Eze and Jesus as well. But Gyökeres and Jesus, especially because Gyökeres likes to go to that left-hand channel. It'd be carnage. And then you've got Eze doing his thing, Saka with his inevitability. And you've got Ethan and Odegaard off the bench. Yeah, I dropped Odegaard. Obviously, if Odegaard gets back to doing what he's doing, then there's conversations. There's actually logic to have Marino in there. And a couple of players that are missing. There's actually logic in Arsenal's strongest 11 to have Kai Havertz if you want to do the tactical thing. Again, at this moment in time, boy, you put a gun to my head. I'm not starting Odegaard. I know he was getting into form, but someone's got to miss out, man. Only 11 players can play, man. And I'd have more faith in Eze in that role. I understand Odegaard does the pressing and stuff, and I'm not negating that, but I do feel we get into scary territory when we, like for Martinelli, we don't talk about what a winger is meant to traditionally do. We talk about going backwards, or what a striker does in terms of everything apart from scoring goals, or even Odegaard with the pressing. At this moment in time, I'm going Eze. Some man are saying Madueke on the left. I hear that, but I don't know, man. You could even put Eze on the left and then Odegaard through the middle. Nelly has come in clutch, but super sub, impactor, all of that kind of stuff, man. Marino up front, there's method to the madness, man. Shirley did drop Zubimendi. Don't worry, man. Next time she's here, she'll say sorry to Zubimendi, man. She said sorry to Martinelli, sorry to Trossard. She used to gas up Kivior. I won. All the players you gassed up, they're gone. All the players I love, they're surviving, Shirley. It's cool, though, man. Kivior, he's gone. But you've gassed up bare shit players on this platform. Kivior, I don't need to pretend he's messed anymore.
But that was you.
I never gassed up Kivior. I actually said sorry to Kivior. I didn't gas up Kivior. He's too timid for my centre back that I like. I don't like timidness in defense. I like aggression. I'm being a bit silly. Kivior's all right, but you need real G's, man.
I'm not missing him either, to be fair. No disrespect, but it is what it is. I'm not missing him either. So I don't know. Honestly, that Marino, that's a good question. I like that question because and that's why it's hard, because we've got so much depth. We've got a lot of choices, but I'm only going off of how, because I feel like the Marino one, that's why it was so hard for me to say it. But I'm like, if I'm just looking at
it does come in clutch.
like in that position, in that sense of, I don't know how, I don't know what it is, but he scores goals. Like,
I prefer him up front than in midfield, to be fair. I think you can get away with it with Merino in certain games. 9 times out of 10, actually, the bigger games. But I think I'm past that. I actually think Merino in this squad is probably one of the best players for our club, purely in the box. Like I don't know. I just really want him in the box, either to pass it to someone or shoot. But as you said, in the overall theme, it's nice. And I think someone even commented it. It's nice to have these selection dilemmas and pressure for places. This is all the shit that, part of my language, that we wanted as Arsenal fans. So if you don't want to be on the bench, make sure Arteta can't leave you out, whether he wants to do different things or not. So yeah, man. Hopefully after the international break, we do our thing. Shirley, where can people find you now that you've made your return here?
Oh, just follow me on Instagram, Shirley _. Just follow me there.
Is it spelled like this? Don't embarrass. I am dyslexic still, Shirley. Hey, type it. I'm crumbling like our title hosts, man. Type it. I crumbled. I tried. That's not how you spell it, isn't it?
I've done something. Oh no. Wait.
Let me regain myself.
I don't know what I'm doing here.
Ain't it that?
Yeah.
All right, saved myself. So yeah, people, you can find her on socials. Any closing words? Apart from sorry to Martinelli?
Nah, not that. Just, thanks everyone for watching, and let's all keep pushing. Hopefully we have a good season, and I'll be causing havoc in the chat, when I can.
She's one of the mods as well, folks.
My job to do, so I'll tune in. I always try to tune in as much as I can, so I'll look forward to seeing you guys and chatting with you guys in the chat in some of the next videos. But thanks for having me. I've enjoyed it as always.
It's always a pleasure, Shirley. It's always a pleasure. I don't know all this blacklist talk and all these things. And forget Shirley for a sec. You see the chat? You've been crying for her to return. I've got it done. So can you not allow me? Smash the like button, subscribe, follow her on Instagram, and leave me the hell alone. I do try for you lot. You lot call for Mikel Arteta to change. You call for me to change. We govern this. DG Nation FC, we're democracy. Unless it comes to my favorite players, then we start moving like North Korea. But on that, I've kept Shirley for too long. I've kept you lot for too long. Enjoy your Mondays. Enjoy what you're doing. Everybody stay safe and blessed. Follow Shirley on Instagram, as you can see on screen. Make sure you're subscribing. And we're out, man. And big up everyone watching this on the replay. But yeah, we've spoken about Calafiori and Timber. Mikel Arteta, give me a call, man. We're out. Arteta, I'm only one call away, man.